Welcome. There are just days where you don't want to speak a whole lot, or days where you just feel like being quiet and you don't need a lot of explanations, a lot of theology, and a lot of comfort. You just need to be and to exist. This is one of those classes where the focus is quietness, wordless on the mat. So welcome down on your mat. Sit tall and comfortable. Maybe let your palms face up. And take a deep, slow inhale. And a slow exhale. Continue breathing slowly and deeply. And I'll invite your heart to pray with me very briefly. God, Son, and Holy Spirit, I welcome you. Thank you that I don't need a lot of words and a lot of explanation and a huge faith to be in your presence and be filled by your love. I surrender. Gather your palms in front of your chest, and we'll follow the movements of our hands with our breath. So as you inhale, you move your arms and hands above your head. And as you exhale, you move your hands down in front of your face and chest. And that's it. Close your eyes and move with your breath as slowly as possible. And as mindful as possible with each movement. Try to move your hands a little bit higher. Maybe breathe in more deeply. Take your hands down a little bit slower. The next time your hands is in front of your chest, just let them stay there. Let your fingertips, your knuckles push against each other, engaging your shoulder, arms. And try to push harder and harder. And then relax. Awesome. Put your hands down on the floor here beside you. And then lean slowly from one side to the other. Let your fingers stay down. Let your head roll. just love the fact that we don't need to understand everything. We don't need to analyze our emotions always. We can just be with whatever is. And being with God in it. And that's just one of the amazing things I love about God, that I don't need to explain a whole lot. I just need to come. Awesome. Make your wrists move a little bit. And find your down dog. Spread your fingers out. Move your feet back and then pedal your feet one at a time, slowly. So if you're normally quite fast here, take pace down. And maybe move with your breath. Take an inhale as you lift one heel. Exhale as you lower another. And then look to the front end of your mat. Move your feet to your hands. As always, hip width apart as you move forward in a forward fold. Small bend in your knees. And you could go for that swaying from side to side. Remember to relax your neck and let your head hang heavy. And then engage your core. Bend your knees even more and vertebrae by vertebrae move into mountain pose. Sun Salutation A. Take your arms out to the side, lift them up towards the sky, maybe looking up. Hands out again, move into forward fold. Lift your chest off your thighs. Bend your knees, hands on the floor on your mat. Step your foot back on toes or knees. Lower down, elbows reaching back towards your toes. When your chest is down, lift your chest off the mat. Untuck your toes and go move back into downward facing dog. Always welcome to step your feet closer or further away after your plank pose. Again, move it to the front end of your mat. Fold forward. And stand up, tall, high mountain. Hands towards the sky. And then let's move with the pace of our breath. Inhale, get ready. And exhale, move forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. Long exhale. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, move to the front end of your mat, fold forward. Inhale, high mountain, arms out to the side. And again, move forward. Try to close your eyes. Exhale as you move forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. You can jump if you like. Inhale, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale again to the front end of your mat, forward fold. Exhale. We continue. Breathe in. Inhale, rise up towards the sky. Lift your arms up. And exhale, move forward. Close your eyes and notice your body. Notice your breath. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. Inhale, cobra, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk or jump to the front end of your mat, forward fold. Exhale. High mountain, inhale 2 more times through. And move forward. Half lift. Down to plank. No need to do your full effort if you don't feel like it today. Lift your chest. Downward facing dog. Again, walking, jumping to the front end of your mat. Fold forward. Last time through. Inhale, high mountain. I look towards the mountains. Exhale, where does my help come from? Forward fold. Half lift. Plank, low plank. Lifting your chest. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. To the front end of your mat again. Fold forward. High mountain. This time let your palms reach each other, shoulders down, and then lean back, opening up your chest. And let your breath do your prayer work right now, or release or surrender, whatever. Awesome. Tall spine again, hands in front of your chest. Engage your shoulders by moving your palms together. Toes and feet together, knees together, and sink into your chair pose. And breathe. Make space in front of your chest, shoulders a little bit back. And then move into your twist, right elbow on the left side of your knee. Making sure that you're still keeping that space in between your shoulder blades and your chest. Thumbs move towards your chest. One more breath. Release, take your hands down on the floor, come into a forward fold, still feet and toes together as much as possible. Let your forehead reach towards your thighs or your knees or your lower leg there. And then sit down again, chair pose. Second time, move again in a moment into our chair pose. Long, tall spine. And focus on your breath for a moment. And then let's twist to your right side, which means left elbow on the outer edge or in between your knees. Knees staying somewhat aligned with each other. Engage your root lock if you can. And then look down. Straighten out your legs, let your forehead hang, forward fold. Maybe going a little bit deeper this time. You don't need to stretch your leg all the way. Maybe just a micro bend in your knees. And today we'll move on our mat, turning on our mat. But of course I'll make sure we get the pose the way you might be able to see me. Take your, at the first time through, take your right leg back, bend the front knee, Crescent Lunge. So let go of your hands off the mat and lift your arms all the way up towards the sky and sink as low as you think is possible today. Lifting the back heel up. And if you feel like going on an adventure, you can always lift the front heel and see what happens there. Awesome. Take your hands on the inside of the front knee. Move into a wide stand, which means move your feet around. Remember that crescent lunge. We're going to move into that at the other end of the mat. But first, moving into a forward fold, freely bending one knee, bending the other. Almost like a kind of a wave here. Free movements. And then you walk your hands to the back end of your mat. If this is not possible for you to do the poses backwards, maybe the back to the screen, just switch foot, that's fine. Move into crescent lunge again, front knee bended, knee and ankle above each other, straighten out the back leg, shoulders down. And again, notice your breath. Gaze steady somewhere in front of you. And then see, just for the fun, lifting up that front heel higher just a little bit. Lots of balance, lots of breath work. Awesome. Take your hands down, heel down, of course, and move to your wide stand. Maybe just take a breath or two here in your forward fold, feet pointing in. And then walk your hands to the front end of your mat again, where you started. Feet back into downward facing dog, and maybe you do your Vinyasa flow or just stay here, whatever works for you. If you do Vinyasa, inhale to your plank, exhale lower down, inhale cobra up dog, exhale downward facing dog. Hip width distance in between your feet. Wrap your shoulders back, squeezing it a little bit harder back if you can. And then lifting up right leg, three-legged dog. No bending your knees, but opening up your hip. So move your right foot as high as you can, pointing your toes. Squaring off your shoulders so they're still aligned with the short end of your mat. And breathe. Closing up your hip, taking your knee underneath your belly. And let it stay in your plank underneath your belly as high as you can for a moment. And see if you can get that foot there, the right foot, to the front end of your mat. Maybe you pull a little bit. Warrior two, pivot the back foot, rise up. And then sink into warrior two, bending the front knee, stretching the back, hands out, reaching. So maybe today you'll be reaching for some peace, some quietness in your mind or just around you. Take the front hand to the inside of your foot. The other arm moves up towards the sky. You can either look up or look down. If you want to go for your binding, welcome to do that. Take that arm, wrap it around your back. The other arm from the foot underneath your knee. See if your hands can reach. Shoulders stacked, pointing forward. Go. Again, wide-legged stand. Move here around. Sway a little bit from side to side. And as I said before, if you get completely confused by turning on the mat, just step back and change foot. We're gonna lift left leg this time, just so you know. But then move your hands to the back end of your mat. Step your feet back. Down dog. Do your vinyasa if you feel like it. Inhale to your plank. Navel in, exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome. Now left leg. Reach it up, three-legged dog, as we did before, just this time the other leg. Left leg, lift it up, point your toes. Breathe. Fingers on the mat if you're kind of slipping. Again, notice your shoulders. Squared off. And then close your hip. Take the knee underneath your belly. Again, plank pose. So wrist, elbows, and shoulders aligned. Lift up that knee underneath yourself. And switch it forward to the front end of your mat. Again, warrior two, turn the back foot. Notice that heels are somewhat aligned. Lift up and then sink down. Get some more distance in between your feet. Sometimes when our mind is a little bit messed up, or you just need quietness, it's really nice to feel your body. Maybe feel the muscles moving, the stretches in your inner thighs. Arms are reaching out long, palms facing down. And as we did before, front hand moves to the inside, the sole of the foot, the arch of the foot. The other arm reaches up. Stay here or go for your binding as we did before. The arm reaching up moves behind you as close to the knee joint as you can. The other arm underneath the knee. And see if your hands can reach. Move forward. You need to bend your knee quite a bit. And some strength in the front thigh there to get that pose. Awesome. Relax. Again, move into your wide stand. And move your hand to the front end of your mat where you started. Move the foot back. Child's pose. Knees on the mat. Glutes towards the heels, forehead on the ground. So maybe picture your mat right now as God's love. You can rest in child's pose in God's love. No explanation needed. Wrap up this class with a few stretches. Pigeon pose, a stretch for our glutes. I'll show you a version that you can do if you have knee issues, but first you can take your right knee or leg and lift it up and then step your foot or actually your whole leg through. If you're really flexible, you might have your shin aligned with the short end of your mat. If not, just bend your knee a little bit more. Make sure you point your toe. And instead of lifting that leg and move it up, maybe you move your back knee a little bit further back. And some would prefer to move forward, stretching here. If this is not working for your knees, reversed pigeon pose is your option. Right knee out to the side and stay here. Close your eyes and breathe. Let's move out of the stretch. Put your hands down. Tuck your toes under. No weight on the knee that's bended there. Okay, use your arms. Use the back foot and move into down dog. If you're on your back, just switch your legs. No worries in getting into your down dog. Left leg, move it up. And again, foot to the front end of your mat. Move the back knee further back if it's possible for you. Notice if it feels good or it hurts anywhere, and then maybe you want to go down. See if you can relax into the poses and breathe. Softness into tension and tiredness. Again, getting out of the pose. This time, come up on your hands here and then move back on your sitting bones. Sit on the mat, either that way or the other way, whatever works. Feet out and toes pointing up. You can definitely bend your knees. You can even roll your mat or sit on a blanket if you want to lift your hip up a little bit. Might be easier if your hamstrings are really tight. Take a breath. Maybe close your eyes and then move forward in what I would call a snail tempo, which means very slowly. And find that sweet spot where you feel the stretch, but you're not overdoing it. Especially if you're an overachiever or perfectionist, maybe you will go for something tough or something you feel is right instead of something you feel is good. And then sit up again. And then for a side stretch, and we won't stay there too long. Move your shoulders towards your left leg. And then take your right shoulder towards your right knee. Maybe you take your elbow here on the inner thigh. I like that, just because then I will lift my shoulder a little bit better, I feel. Left arm moves over because that will give you a stretch here on your side and your ribs. all the way down to the tailbone. Shoulders stacked. Move up. Taking your time. Look to your right leg. Shorten the distance if this is too wide or too hard. And then move left shoulder towards left knee and lean to the side. Focus on your breath again. Okay. Shoulders around. Almost getting into resting pose. Come down on your back. But first, take your right knee, move it towards your armpit, your right armpit. Bend your knee. Now, if this is a stretch already, stay here. If you want to move further, stretch out left leg on the floor. Make sure the heel is on the floor. It's not a strength ab exercise. It's a stretch for a hip. And you can even play a little bit with moving your hip further out if that's what works better. Let go of the foot. Take the other leg up. Left leg towards the left armpit. Again, option of staying with the knee bended or half bended even. You can close your eyes and hopefully enjoy the stretch. Enjoy that you can relax here. And let go. You're always welcome to do some sort of posture or release or whatever makes sense before getting into a resting pose. I would suggest that you do resting pose today, of course with your legs out, toes pointing out, but maybe with your hands stretched above your head, bend your elbows, and rest here, not moving your shoulders up, of course, taking them down, maybe a little bit more wide distance, just to show with your body that openness and I would say surrender posture here, being completely vulnerable and open. And stay with your eyes closed. And I'll give you around 2 or 3 minutes on the mat before I would say or I say goodbye to you, just so you know. That is just for a few moments. Open your mouth, your jaws relax, eyes lightly closed. If your mind needs to focus on something, then picture some kind of landscape that you enjoy looking at and just staying that picture or that image. The video will end now, but please stay down on your mat and relax. Pray that God's peace will be in your body, your soul, and your mind in quietness.